All right, man. We're gonna talk about news coming out, the rumors coming out that Andy Cruz, Olympic gold medalist, will beat Keyshawn Davis a few times in the amateur, beat him for the gold medal. Has defected from Cuba to start a professional box career over here. Excuse me. Also, Josh Taylor said he got two more fights at 140 pounds. We're gonna talk about who those are. Also, Robeisy Ramirez says he has no immediate ambitions and no clear, ambitious in the near future to take on Shakir Stevenson. But first, let's talk about Virgil Ortiz and Jamil Charlo. Now, Virgil Ortiz, an interview with Fight Hub, and where he talked about going to, what happened with the Rabdo and all that, and explained that, you know, the procedures that he went through, couldn't do nothing for 3 weeks, had to stop taking the branch chain amino acid BCAA. If you don't know what that is, never mind. Don't have time to explain it. So he talked about those things, man, and they talked about some hypotheticals. He said he'd happily wait. He would happily wait if for Crawford and Spence. He said it's worth the wait to get the crack at all three titles, which he 9 times out of 10 he won't get a crack at none of the three titles. To be honest, they're probably gonna retire and move up now. Somebody could stay and defend. I could be wrong. Maybe he knows something I don't know, but But they got to talking about Jamel Charlo right now. They got some like recent history, excuse me, and some of the recent history that they have is Jamel Charlo getting mad at him, telling him, you know, before the Castanos fight that he had knocked him out or beat him up too, um, because um, he said because he was training with Castanos and all this type of stuff and whatever the situation was, he was training with Castano's Virgil Ortiz, and he said he had knocked Virgil Ortiz out as well. So, or he beat him up as well. Whatever he said, he started going on this one of his little epic rants and stuff of that nature. Um, Virgil Ortiz said if the fight presented itself, he would take it in a heartbeat. But here it go.
Curveball. I know you mentioned you want to stay at 147 for as long as you can, but we're seeing Danny Garcia move up to 154. Charlo's the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. Curveball, but would you entertain a fight with Jermell Charlo at 154 to be undisputed?
Yeah, yeah, I would.
How would that fight look like?
Hopefully with me with all the belts. Right.
All right. Hey, I would love to see that fight, man. So,
Oh, of course, what he gonna say? I'm not ready, or this, that, and the third, and Charlo talk some stuff. It'd be an all Texas fight. It'd be Houston versus Dallas. But I think Jamel Charlo gonna be moving up in the near future. But Virgil Ortiz can be moving up in the near future as well too. So, um, so who knows? It could be a catch weight. Ortiz might be big enough to battle it out at 160 eventually. Charlo last stop might be 160. So I mean, they might eventually meet up with each other, or whatever the situation may be. They might rendezvous and start getting it on. But like I said before, what are you supposed to say? Nah, I'm not ready. This, that, and the third, of course. He gonna say that Oscar De La Hoya, uh might have different plans. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is what it is. Right now, obviously, he hasn't proved jack crap other than being a really good contender. At 147, he ain't proved to be championship quality or none of that. So um, that's just what it is at this point. So um, he hasn't proven that yet. But eventually in due time, it might be comical to look back and question his career. He's 18-0, 18 knockouts, just like better be at. But obviously, there's a little bit difference between their careers. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Ortiz is a contender and better be as the older fighter that was on the fast track. So you know, like I said before, I would love um to see them fight. But eventually, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But right now, Charlo is just in a different dimension as far as a quality of fighter between them. You know what I'm saying? So he in a different he on a different level. He's just simply on a different level. So one day it might be looking stupid that the question whether Ortiz can beat Crawford, beat Spence, beat Jermell Charlo. We may be looking like, oh, I really didn't doubted Virgil Ortiz, but Floyd went through something similar. At some point it was just saying, it seems silly for people who don't know their boxing history or their immediate boxing history or their not too distant boxing or not too in the past boxing future to be questioning Floyd Mayweather being over Roy Jones pound for pound. But at one point, that question was very comical, very comical. It was a comical question, and you know, very comical question. So, but now eventually we just gotta wait and see how it all play out. But I think right now, I think most people would agree with me and say, well, Charlo will probably spark him out because he ain't done nothing he hadn't done nothing at the opposite weight or his right weight class right now. So I think he said he'd been at the weight class around 3 years, and yeah, he said he'd been around the weight class around 3 years. So yeah, it ain't too. Some PBC fighters been in the weight class for around a decade. So I don't really think this is actually an issue, but I mean, look forward to it moving on. So apparently, Josh Taylor saying that he's staying at 40 for 2 more fights. He said, Jose Zepeda, Jack Catterall. Now, Catterall also made a pact with Teofimo Lopez to fight. I'm guessing he'd rather get the crack at the 3 belts because I believe the WBA stripped Josh Taylor. So he said he wants to shut down whiny mouth, big mouth. He said Josh Taylor Catterall has been mouthing off and moaning. I just want to shut his mouth. So also, I believe Josh Taylor just got married as well too. So something to look at, think about. Might be comfortable or whatever, but nonetheless, let's get to it. It says, man, I want to shut everyone up, Taylor, to the national. The only reason I'm staying at the weight is I want to fight Catterall again. Quote, I don't think it was wrong decision in February, but I want to shut everyone up. I want to prove that was an off night for me, and I'm one of the best fighters on the planet because all the stick and abuse I've been getting and the way Jack been too mouthing off and moaning, I just want to shut his mouth. The single reason I'm staying at the weight is to shut him and everyone else up. Taylor expects the fight was paid to take place in September, October. After that fight, he will go after Catterall. Quote, it's frustrating because anyone who knows me knows I'd fight with my shadow in an empty house. I'm not scared to fight anybody, but boxing fans are so fickle; they change like the weather. Often they don't understand the business, and then starts getting personal. And if they didn't have that keyboard in front of them, there's no way they'd say it. Taylor said, "Quote: Everything I've been doing, being the first guy from the UK to become undisputed world champion in only 18 fights, has that been forgotten? My run up to Jack Catterall had been undefeated champions, defeating undefeated champions after undefeated champions. I beat all of them, and I beat Jack too on a really bad performance. So it's quite funny how quickly people forget." He said it would have been Jack before Zepeda if it could have been worked out without the boxing politics and mandatories getting in the way. I'd rather be fighting Jack next, but Zepeda is a big fight, and people who are talking down, people who don't know the business, he's a top level fighter. After I fight Zepeda, then Catterall, I'm with the 47, get some big fights. So, um, like I said before, you can just simply drop the WBC belt. It don't really matter. That Catterall fight reaches progress for the WC belt, but reaches progress is getting treated like a $2 hooker. He's supposed to be fighting Catterall, for the vacant WBC belt. Taylor said, "Now I'm only sticking around because of the Catterall fight. Other than that, I would have moved up." So I mean, the one person that's getting the raw deals reaches progress. That's why it's so important for who you sign when he go over to Pro Bellum and they don't have any clout. They can't really, override Top Rank, can't override Golden Boy at least, can't override Eddie Hearn, can't override PBC. He just stuck in the middle. And when you look at this, the ranking system for him, I'm pretty sure he getting a raw deal. He's saying, "Well, nobody want to fight me." Well, you signed on the wrong side of the street, sir. my Earl Spence boys, you signed on the wrong side of the street. So he signed on the wrong side of the street. And now he paying for it. You know what I'm saying? So he number 3 in the WBC. So he behind Zepeda and Ramirez. The WBA vacant. I think Pulelo and Jorge Davis fighting for that. He number 5 in the WBA, and IBF. He ain't even ranked, so he chose not to be ranked in the IBF. And then he number 6 in the WBO. So that's why it's important to who you sign to. That's very, very important who you sign to, because the politics will get to you. So you got to sign to somebody, and that's the honest opinion. So, and then when you sign to small guys like Zeffner, main event, you still got to go through the top ranks of the world. Okay, so the thing about Josh Taylor, it is what it is. They always come up with this thing, you're only good as your latest performance. I always thought that was some bull crap. In boxing, you're gonna have off nights, and that's what it is. He had a bad night, or Catterall had his number. We about to find out. If Catterall can beat Josh Taylor, they could turn around and fight Teofimo Lopez. I heard Teofimo Lopez bitching, complaining, saying Josh Taylor didn't want to fight him and he ducked him. But bro, you ain't even in the right mental state of mind. He should have whooped on you, but I would have dropped the WBC for Catterall and moved up. But like I said, then you had to see Drawing Ennis and Vergil Ortiz and trying to chase Conor Ben. So really, it is what it is. So we have to wait and see what happens. But Catterall just might have his number. Might just been a bad night, but he looked terrible in that fight, and a lot of fans had an overreaction. So a lot of fans already didn't like him for whatever reason it was. So he got to prove that. He got to prove that was a fluke. So he gonna have to prove that was a fluke. So, but that's up to him. That's up to him. So, nonetheless, let's go over to Robeisy Ramirez, right? Let's go over to Robeisy Ramirez. Not interested in Shakur Stevenson rematch. Wants to become undisputed at 26, right? So he said yes. He said yes. I expected a knockout after beating Abraham Nova. The work we did in camp was towards the knockout. Said Robeisy Ramirez to fight high when next. We expect to KO Abraham Nova last Saturday. Quote: That was a preparation. Blah 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 blah. He said I knew blah 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 blah. He said I would fight anyone. I said Robeisy when asked if he could face WO featherweight champion Mary when the red day depends on my company, my team. I want to fight the best. Keep rolling. Is there if they're available? Of course, I would fight him. Ramirez said about Navarrete. Quote: I wish Keir Stevenson the best. We had a great relationship. I don't see that fight happening. Said Robeisy when asked if he rematch between him and WCWO super featherweight champion Keir Stevenson is possible. He's in the weight class 130 right now, and I think he will keep moving up. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm very comfortable at 126. That's my division. I'm going to clear the division and then see what's next. It's not something at the top of my mind right now. Robeisy said about rematch with Shakur Stevenson. Definitely undisputed and clearing out the division at 126 is the goal. At the most 135, 6 or 7 years, but I'm not banking on it. I'm not growing anymore. I'm comfortable with my weight, Ramirez said. So he basically said that he don't really plan on moving up no time soon. So and he pretty much think Shakur just gonna keep moving up and moving up. So he's 28 years old right now, and if that's a legitimate age, all right, we don't even know if that's legit. So 5'5.5", 6'8", he about right. 130 might where he top off at if some money involved. Probably 135. So he right about that. Abraham Nova was a bigger guy, 5'9", 72-inch arms. He was seen like he had welterweight dimensions, but Ramirez took care of him. Who knows how old he is? So it is what it is. Hopefully he makes some money. But he beat Shakur Stevenson. Why would he be chasing him in the professional ranks? Shakur should be chasing him, and I don't think Shakur really worried about him. Right now, he did lose his professional debut. But at the end of the day, absolutely means nothing. And now, for the most part, he knocking at the door of the world title fight. So, guy with Ishmael Salas, he defected over here. need some money. Of course, you're gonna sign a deal. They're gonna want to put you in the ring as quick as possible. And like I said, going into last night, Abraham Nova was number 4 in the WBO. Busy was 12, so expect a big jump up. He was 12 in the WBA. I don't think right now he's in the WBC, and this will be an older version. It will be updated pretty soon. So man, I ain't chasing nobody that I done whooped on. So that ain't really, that ain't really much to talk about at that point. I already whooped on them. What's the point? What's the point? But nonetheless, let's move on to our last topic real quick now. Cuban gold medalist Andy Cruz, he beat Keyshawn Davis a few times in the amateurs. We talked some stuff on social media on Twitter to Keyshawn Davis. They saying that he has defected from Cuba is the report of, allegedly, and is coming over to America to start his professional career. Good. Remember the Cubans are now allowed to fight professionally, but they saying that most of that money would go to their to the country of Cuba. So that's why a lot of these guys, from my understanding, defect, and so they can pocket the money and live their lives how they want to live their lives. So it's an Olympic gold medalist, 3-time world champion, world championship gold medalist. Andy Cruz has reportedly defected from Cuba, leaving the country in order to become a professional boxer in the near future. So the division is obviously going to be interesting. I mean, if Ryan Garcia ever going to jump to get a belt here, it better happen pretty soon. He's 26 years old, so not sure how old he really is. But the thing about it, Cubans never really, whatever reason, professionally, it never really translate for the most part. It rarely does. They always coming up short in the biggest fights. Even the amateurs, they had some headgear off now and all that. But the question is, you have to, in the professionals, it's different. You have to sustain that pace. You have to sustain the conditioning for 12 rounds, and they just been conditioned to train for amateur, 3-4 rounds, whatever it is, in the amateurs for so long that, like I said before, it may not matter. So they say he's 26 years old. He might be 3-4 years older than that. He might be right on point. With that age, but the division get interesting. He obviously gonna be on the fast track. That division is gonna get very interesting real quick. Keyshawn Davis is there. Shakur Stevenson could be there. Lomachenko is there. Gervonta Davis is there. And at some point, if the sanctioned belt bodies do their job, bro, Tank and Ryan Garcia is gonna have to fight somebody. Joseph Diaz there. Camboso still around. Rivera still on. So if and when he makes his debut, and if it's at 135, how quick it take him to really move up the ranks, which it shouldn't be long. This division is going to be probably one of the better divisions from top to bottom in talent. The African Jeremiah Nicotina, who knocked out McGill Burchett, who had that fight with Shakur Stevenson. Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. But yeah, man, talented guy. Very slippery. So he going to be a problem. And if he can sustain and make the adjustments to the pro style, he'll probably be world champion in like not too far in the distant future neither. He's gonna be champion real quick. And like I said before, Keyshawn Davis, all them dudes coming, Shakur could be moving up. So I mean, what you gonna get here is you're gonna get trouble. Gonna be trouble. They all fight each other. Don't let the politics. Frank Martin there. It's pretty much gonna be classical. So Williams Zepeda coming up, Issa Cruz still around. So it's gonna be a great division, man. So let me know what you girls and guys think about him defecting, about the video. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, next subscribe button, it's the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to get notifications. We go live, drop video. Financially, you want to support the channel, Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal in the description. Check out the boxing news and boxing from playlist. Hit my link tree. Find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Amazon. Music. Also, you find me on Google Podcasts. All the information is there. Want to donate, Cash App and Venmo, CJ Good 313. Obviously, $ CJ Good 313 on Cash App. Venmo CJ Good 313. PayPal link description. Appreciate the love support. Don't forget to thumbs the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.